Ethan Cole had lived alone on Outpost 17 for almost 2 years. The small human station floated on the edge of the Vega sector, far from Earth, far from family, far from anything warm or human. His days were long, his nights were silent, and the only voice he heard was the station AI asking him to fix broken pipes or low-power units. Outpost life was safe, but painfully empty. On this night, Ethan sat in his tiny room, staring at the glow of his datapad. His hands were shaking a little. He had done something he never thought he would do. He had hired an alien companion for one night, not for romance, not for passion, but simply for company. For a few hours of not feeling alone. He told himself it was normal. Many lonely tech workers on far stations did it. But the moment the airlock shift light blinked green, he felt a cold wave run through his chest. "She's here," Ethan whispered to himself. The AI chimed softly. Visitor energy signature detected. Opening door. The door slid aside with a soft hiss. Ethan expected a normal alien woman, maybe a blueskin Aaron, maybe a gentle Vexian with soft light patterns across her face. But the woman who stepped in was different. She was tall, at least a head taller than him, with silver skin that shimmered like moonlight on water. Her hair looked like long strands of white fire. And her eyes glowed softly like two silver suns. She wore thin armor decorated with strange markings that looked ancient, almost ceremonial. For a moment, Ethan forgot how to breathe. She didn't walk like a visitor. She walked like someone returning home. "I am Lyra," she said. And her voice, it wasn't one voice. It sounded like two voices speaking in perfect harmony, one soft, one deep. Ethan blinked. Hello, Lyra. Welcome to Outpost 17. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stepped toward him slowly. Every step made the lights above flicker, as if her presence was bending the energy around her. Ethan took a small step back without realizing it. The AI spoke again, sounding confused for the first time in years. Warning, unknown energy signature increasing. Lyra finally stopped inches from him. She reached out her hand, long fingers, glowing lines under her skin, and touched his hand lightly. And the room shook. Just for half a second. A small vibration under his feet. Like the station itself reacted to her touch. Ethan's heart pounded. What was that? Lyra looked at him with an expression he couldn't understand, not desire, not curiosity, something deeper. "I have found you," she whispered. Ethan let out an awkward laugh. Yeah, I'm Ethan. But I think you already know." "No," she said. "I mean, I have found you." She slowly lowered herself onto one knee, bowing her head. Ethan froze. "What are you doing?" Lyra looked up at him. Her eyes were brighter now. Too bright. "I belong to you," she said. "From this moment. Forever." Ethan's brain stopped working for a full 2 seconds. What? "Look, I think you misunderstood. I only hired you for—" "I know," she said calmly. "One night. But I choose more." Ethan felt a cold fear crawling up his spine. Choose? What did she mean, choose? He tapped his wrist. AI, log this. Companion contract mismatch. Please contact the service. The AI cut him off. Error. No contract found. No visitor registered. Camera logs show no one entered the airlock. Ethan stared at her. "What do you mean no one entered? She's standing right in front of me." But deep down, he already knew. Lyra wasn't sent by any service. She wasn't hired. She wasn't even expected. She came because she wanted to. And she came for him. "Lyra, who are you?" Ethan whispered. Before she could answer, the station lights went red. A loud alarm echoed through the room. "Critical alert," the AI shouted. "Unidentified hostile forces approaching Outpost 17. Exterior hull breach detected." Ethan's eyes widened. What? We're in a quiet zone. Who would attack? Lyra suddenly grabbed his arm. Her grip was warm but powerful, almost too strong. They found me, she said. Who? She didn't answer. Instead, she pushed Ethan behind her with surprising gentleness. Her glowing eyes narrowed. The wall to their right exploded inward. Smoke and dust shot across the room. Metal panels flew like paper. Ethan fell backward as the shockwave hit. When the dust cleared, he saw them. 4 armored soldiers stepping through the broken wall. Black armor. Red visors. Guns humming with energy. One of them pointed at Lyra and shouted. Target located. Capture the Silverblood. Another soldier pointed at Ethan. The human must not survive. Ethan's heart stopped. Him? Why him? Lyra stepped forward. Her silver skin glowed brighter, almost white. Stay behind me, she said softly. And then everything changed. One soldier fired at her a bright blue bolt of energy. It hit Lyra in the chest. The bolt shattered like glass. The soldier hesitated. Impossible. Lyra raised her hand. A pulse of white energy burst from her palm. The soldier flew back into the hallway, armor breaking like plastic. The other soldiers panicked. Fall back. She's fully awakened. Call reinforcements. Ethan crawled backward until he hit the wall. His mind raced. Awakened? Silverblood? Capture? Kill the human? Nothing made sense. Lyra turned to him, eyes soft again. I am sorry, she said. I did not want you to see this. Ethan stared at her, trembling. Lyra, what are you? She reached for his hand again. Her touch, warm and glowing, made his skin tingle. I am someone who has been searching for you for many years, she said. And I will not let them take you. Take me? Why me? She looked at him with something like sadness. Because you carry something inside you. Something they fear. More explosions echoed through the hallway. Boots slammed against metal floors. Dozens of soldiers, not just 4, were coming. Lyra pulled Ethan close, lifting him like he weighed nothing. Hold on, she whispered. She jumped straight up, through the broken ceiling, landing in the dark maintenance corridor above. Ethan grabbed her shoulders tightly, heart racing. The soldiers began climbing after them. Lyra, where are we going? To a place where they cannot take you. Another explosion shook the station. Ethan, she said softly, your life is about to change forever. And with that, she ran into the darkness of the upper tunnels, carrying him away from the only life he ever knew. Darkness surrounded Ethan as Lyra ran through the narrow maintenance tunnels of Outpost 17. The metal floors shook under her feet. Pipes hissed with steam. Red emergency lights flashed like a heartbeat against the walls. Behind them, the sound of boots echoed dozens, maybe more. The enemy soldiers were moving fast. Ethan held tightly to Lyra's shoulders, afraid he might fall if he loosened even one finger. His heart was beating so fast it felt painful. Lyra, he gasped, who are these people? Why are they after you? And why me? Lyra didn't look back. Her glowing eyes focused forward, scanning every turn. They are called the Crimson Hunters, she said, voice steady even while running. A mercenary group sworn to destroy my kind. But why? Ethan asked. Because we carry power. Power they want to erase. She jumped over a broken pipe like it was nothing. But the part one don't understand, Ethan said, is why they want me dead. Lyra finally stopped at a junction, listening. Soldiers' voices echoed somewhere behind them. They do not want you dead, she said quietly. They want you controlled. And if they cannot control you, then yes, they will kill you. Ethan felt a cold wave rush through him. Control me? Why? I'm just an engineer. Lyra slowly turned toward him, her silver skin glowing softly in the red light. "No," she said. "You are not just an engineer." She lifted her hand and placed it over his chest, right above his heartbeat. Inside Ethan's ribcage, something pulsed warm, electric, like a second heartbeat. Ethan's eyes widened. What is that?" "That," Lyra whispered, "is the signal." Ethan stared at her. "Signal? I don't." Before she could finish explaining, a loud clang echoed through the tunnel. A door behind them exploded open and soldiers poured through. "They're in Sector 3. Don't let the silver blood escape. Kill the human if he resists." Lyra grabbed Ethan's wrist. "This way." She sprinted into a vertical shaft and leaped upward, her feet pushing against the metal walls like she was running up them. Ethan clung to her, trying not to look down. The soldiers fired up into the shaft. Blue bolts of energy shot past Ethan's legs. "Move! Move! She's climbing! Aim for the human!" Lyra twisted her body, shielding Ethan from the shots. Bolts hit her back and shattered into sparks, bouncing off her glowing skin. Ethan couldn't believe it. She wasn't just strong. She was something beyond human understanding. They reached the top of the shaft and rolled into a larger corridor. Ethan fell to the floor, coughing. "Lyra, what is the signal? Why do I have it?" Lyra helped him stand. Her face softened. "There is not much time," she said. "But the truth is this, inside you is a dormant code left by an ancient species, the first ones. I don't understand." "You are one of their last descendants," she said. "And only a few humans carry this code. It is rare. Powerful. Dangerous." Ethan felt dizzy. "Are you telling me I'm not normal?" Lyra shook her head. "You are much more than normal. You are a signal bearer. You were born with the ability to control ancient technology that no modern race can understand." Ethan stared at her in disbelief. "I don't even know how to use a coffee machine sometimes," he muttered. Lyra smiled softly. "Your power is not awake yet. But she pointed back toward the tunnel where soldiers were approaching, "fear what you may become." Suddenly, the station shook violently. A metallic roar echoed across the corridors. Ethan stumbled. "What was that?" Lyra's expression hardened. "They brought a warbreaker." Ethan didn't know what that was, but from Lyra's face, he knew it was bad. She grabbed his hand. "We must reach the escape pods before it reaches us." They ran through a long corridor. The lights flickered. Sparks fell from the ceiling. The entire station felt like it was being ripped apart from outside. As they neared the escape pod bay, Ethan saw a huge shadow through a cracked window, a massive ship moving outside the station, almost touching its hull. The warbreaker. It wasn't a normal ship. It was a floating fortress of metal blades, glowing red engines, and weapon arrays that pulsed like angry eyes. Ethan whispered, "That thing came for us?" "For you," Lyra corrected. "They will destroy anything to capture the last signal bearer." When they reached the escape pod chamber, Ethan saw 4 pods. 3 were broken. 1 blinked green. "Only 1?" Ethan said. "Enough for us," Lyra replied. She placed her hand on the control panel. The pod door slid open. But before they could enter, a loud stomp echoed behind them. Ethan turned and his blood froze. A massive soldier stepped out from the smoke. He was twice the size of the others, covered in heavy armor, carrying a weapon that hummed like a hungry animal. The soldier pointed at Ethan. His voice was deep and distorted through the helmet. "Human Ethan Cole. Come with me, or your world will suffer." Ethan felt his knees weaken. "Am my world? Earth? What do you want with Earth?" The soldier took a step forward. "Surrender the silver blood. And surrender yourself." Lyra moved between Ethan and the soldier. Her skin glowed brighter than he had ever seen. "You will not touch him," she said. The soldier laughed. "You belong to our empire, Silverblood. And that human," he pointed his massive weapon at Ethan's chest, "belongs in a grave." The weapon fired. Lyra threw herself in front of Ethan. The blast hit her with full force. She flew backward into the sidewall, metal bending around her impact. "Lyra!" Ethan shouted. Lyra struggled to stand. Her glow flickered. The soldier aimed again. Ethan felt something ignite inside his chest, the second heartbeat, the warm pulse, the signal. He raised his hand without knowing why. A shockwave burst from his palm. White light filled the room. The soldier's weapon exploded. Sparks flew. The giant armored figure stumbled backward, roaring in pain. Ethan stared at his own hand, trembling. What did I just do?" Lyra, bruised but standing, smiled weakly. "You awakened, even for a moment." More soldiers' voices echoed far behind them, dozens gathering. Lyra grabbed Ethan and pushed him into the escape pod. "We must go. Now." Ethan grabbed her hand. "Are you coming with me?" She looked into his eyes. "I told you," she whispered, "I belong to you. And I will stay by your side until my last breath." She stepped into the pod and sealed the door. The pod launched. As it flew away, Ethan looked out through the small window and saw the massive warbreaker ship turning toward them. A message flashed on the pod's main screen. "Earth-class signal detected. Surrender at once, or your home planet will burn." Ethan's breath caught in his throat. His life was not just changing. It was exploding. And the galaxy was coming for him. The escape pod shot through space like a small metal bullet. Inside, Ethan sat strapped to the wall, his palms still shaking after the strange power blast he had released. His mind felt loud, too loud, like a storm of thoughts hitting him all at once. Beside him, Lyra breathed heavily. Her silver glow flickered weakly. The blast she took to protect him had clearly hurt her. Ethan leaned close. "Lyra, are you okay?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "I will heal, but not fast. The blast took much of my energy." Ethan felt a knot twist in his chest. She was hurt because of him. Because she chose him. Before he could say anything, the pod screen lit up. A cold, mechanical voice filled the cabin. "Earth-class signal detected. Human Ethan Cole, surrender immediately. Failure to comply will activate planetary cleansing protocol." Ethan's heart dropped. Planetary cleansing? That meant Earth. He grabbed the control panel. Can they really reach Earth? Lyra nodded slowly. The Warbreaker carries weapons powerful enough to burn oceans and shatter continents. If they believe you will resist, they will threaten your world to force you. Ethan felt sick. Why? Why is everyone after the signal inside me? Lyra looked at him, her eyes glowing softly like tired stars. Because the signal can control the technology of the first ones, she said. It is older than any empire. Older than any species still alive. She touched his hand. And only you can use it. That makes you dangerous to them, or valuable. Ethan leaned back, taking a deep breath. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He didn't even believe in destiny. So why him? Suddenly the pod shook violently. Lyra looked through the small window. They are pulling us in with a magnetic net. The Warbreaker filled the view, a monstrous shadow, bigger than anything Ethan had ever seen. Its red lights burned like eyes watching them. The pod jerked again. And stopped. We've been caught, Ethan whispered. The pod doors slid open with a metallic groan. Smoke floated in. A walkway extended toward them. Ethan unstrapped himself and stood up on shaky feet. Light footsteps approached. A tall figure stepped into view, not a soldier, but something worse. He wore dark robes with crimson armor plates and a mask made of black metal. Lyra stiffened. That is a warden, she said quietly. A leader of the Crimson Hunters. The warden tilted his head at Ethan. Human Ethan Cole, he said in a deep, slow voice. Your existence endangers the balance of the galaxy. Come quietly, and Earth will live. Ethan swallowed hard. And if I don't? The warden's mask tilted slightly. Then Earth dies. It is simple. Ethan felt his blood turn cold. The warden gestured. Soldiers surrounded them, weapons raised. Take the silver blood. The human comes with me. 2 soldiers stepped forward to grab Lyra. Lyra tried to stand tall, but her energy was low. Her glow flickered like a dying flame. Ethan moved in front of her. Don't touch her. The warden chuckled. You cannot stop them, human. Ethan wasn't sure what he could do. But something inside him, the signal, pulsed again. He felt warmth spread through his chest and down his arms. The nearest soldier fired at Ethan's legs. A flash of white light burst from Ethan's hand. The energy bolt bent around him, curving like a river flowing around a stone. The soldiers screamed. He's awakened. He's active. The warden's voice sharpened. Restrain him now. Another soldier tried to grab Ethan, but Ethan raised his hand instinctively. Another burst of white force exploded outward. 5 soldiers were thrown across the hallway like toys. Ethan gasped and stared at his hands. I did that? Lyra's eyes widened. The signal is waking. Faster than I expected. The warden raised his hand and pressed a device on his wrist. The lights in the hallway changed to deep red. Enough, he said. If the human refuses to come, then Earth will burn. The hallway's metal walls turned transparent, showing a massive holographic screen. It displayed Earth blue, peaceful, unaware. A countdown appeared. 0:59. Planetary cleansing cannon charging. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. 1 minute until Earth was destroyed. No! Ethan shouted. Stop it. Then surrender, the warden said calmly. Ethan's hands shook. Millions of lives. His home. His people. All hanging by a thread. Before Ethan could answer, Lyra stepped forward. No, she said, her voice stronger somehow. He will not surrender. The warden laughed. You cannot stop. Lyra pressed her glowing hand to Ethan's chest. For a moment, everything became silent. Then Ethan felt it, a rush of energy, like a door inside him had opened. Warm. Ancient. Powerful. White light burst from his body. Lyra whispered, voice soft but firm. I give you my strength. I give you my bond. You are not alone. Ethan felt his fear melt away. Not because he wasn't scared. But because now, he wasn't scared alone. He stepped forward. The warden aimed a huge weapon at him. Stand down. But Ethan didn't stop. He raised both hands. White energy spiraled around him like a storm. The metal floors shook. Weapons malfunctioned. Soldiers collapsed as their armor shut down. Ethan looked at the countdown. 0:10. He reached out with his mind, not his hands, and the signal responded. He felt the massive weapon charging on the warbreaker. He felt its circuits. Its power lines. Its control systems. He whispered, turn off. The weapon obeyed. The countdown froze at 00:04. Then disappeared. The giant cannon shut down like a dying star. The warden screamed in rage. You cannot control First One tech. You are human. Ethan stepped closer, glowing brighter. Maybe human, he said softly. But not weak. The warden swung his blade toward Ethan. But Lyra jumped in front of him. Her eyes blazed. Her silver skin shone like steel. You will not touch him. With the last of her strength, she unleashed a blast of silver energy that sent the warden flying backward through a wall. Silence. Then alarms. The warbreaker began to break apart, systems failing everywhere. Ethan grabbed Lyra as she collapsed. Lyra! Stay with me. She smiled weakly. You awakened your power. I knew you would. He held her close. Don't leave me. She touched his cheek. I told you. I belong with you. Not because I must, but because I choose. Ethan carried her into the same escape pod and launched away as the warbreaker exploded behind them, breaking into burning pieces. The pod flew toward the stars. Lyra rested her head on his shoulder, her glow slowly returning. And now, she whispered, we go to Earth. Together. Ethan looked at the blue planet in the distance. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone. He felt ready. Ready for whatever the galaxy would bring next.